You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hey, welcome back. It's Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. We're here again. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth.
Happy New Year.
Again?
We already did that one.
So soon?
It's still January.
Yeah. True.
I think, isn't it?
As far as we know.
So. It is.
Yeah. How's things going? Cliff, I know how things are going with you, so I won't even ask.
Pass.
Things are going great.
All right.
You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night! Marsha!
There's something right, yo. Yo, come on, yo, Omar's coming, man.
I'm Prison Mike. You know why they call me Prison Mike?
Beavis, please sit down.
Are you threatening me? I am Cornholio.
First sign a youngster's going wrong, you got to nip it in the bud. Nip it.
And I'm sitting there with Woody, and I turn to him and I go, boy, these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Picture it, Sicily, 1939.
What you talking about, Willis?
Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor? Hi, neighbor.
Good afternoon, everybody.
I'm gonna hit us. We're gonna talk some TV today, so I'm gonna hit us like Jordan did at some point not too long ago with an impromptu top 10.
Unauthorized.
Oh
Unauthorized.
my!
Yes, yeah. This is exactly scandal. Top 10 that nobody else got to prepare for.
I like it.
Okay, this was. I couldn't figure out where else to fit this, and it felt timely. This was my top 10 TV from 2022.
I've thought that before. We've never done
We've
got our Oscars, we've got our Poobahs.
Yeah.
But we don't have our Emmys. We've never done a best of. I think there's just too much. Yeah. TV is just too wide a stratum at the moment.
Well, maybe
and we all watch different stuff on different channels and
Well, that's what we're doing this year. Is my unauthorized list, but maybe next year we'll try something else. So just a few runners up here. A few, what do they call that?
Honorable mention?
Yeah, honorable mentions. Yeah, I liked Hot D. House of the Dragon was pretty good.
Golden Globe winner.
Hot D. Liked Quantum Leap. We're started the second half of the first season this year, but the first half was good enough to keep me watching. I don't know how long before it'll be canceled, but there was from the creators of American Vandal, we have Players on Paramount Plus about a video game team. That was pretty good. I liked Claim to Fame, a new reality show that was really good about people related to celebrities trying to win some money. We had the return of Beavis and Butthead, which was fantastic. I love that. Also on Paramount Plus, and The Offer, the show about the making of The Godfather. Really enjoyed that. Julia on HBO. I like that show about Julia Childs. You know, were they going to have another season of that, Cliff?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything.
The one season thing or not, but I really like that. Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings, the Lot D Well, a lot of art. I don't know. But anyway, the Lord of the Rings show prequel, I really enjoyed it. Recently watched Fleischman is in Trouble on Hulu. That was with Jesse Eisenberg and Claire Danes. And what's her name from Party Down? You know him. I almost had it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
He's typing.
I was going to start this show and
Lizzie
the other
Kaplan.
day, and I have
Lizzie
Lizzie Kaplan.
It's a trick show. I never read the book,
Hmm.
but had you ever heard of it, Jordan? Fleischman is in Trouble.
Yeah, I saw the teaser for it.
I mean the book, like it's based on a book. I'd never heard of it, but anyway, I'm assuming it was popular, but I had never read it. But the show's like a trick. It's not what you think it is. It's so I recommend it. I thought it was great.
Fleischman's not in trouble?
Yeah, it's
What's
just
a twist?
It is a twist.
Who would have thought?
Fleischman's fine. He was fine the whole time. It's all right.
Station 11, HBO show.
Forgot about that one.
That's a really great show.
Hey, that's the kind of thing I would go back and watch on HBO if it's still there.
Exactly.
At some point in the future.
Winning Time, Lakers show. We all enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
These are not the top 10 yet, though.
No.
Oh, my
but
God.
I'm reminding us.
This is the bottom 27.
Right. Don't you want to remember all the shows we watched that we enjoyed? That was a good year. I don't have to keep going. You don't like these shows? Let's see. I think the last one out of my top 10 was Wrexham. Welcome to Wrexham. I really like that. About that soccer team. All right, number 10.
This is why all our episodes are an hour and a half, because there's so much good TV to talk about.
I agree. Number 10, The Patient on Hulu with Donald Gleason and Steve Carell. It was a really good show about this like serial killer, and he traps his psychiatrist with him so he can get therapy to make him stop killing people. And it's really good. And I thought it ended really well. I thought the ending was clever. So, and
that's
Steve Carell,
that's just a one season thing.
Yes. Yeah, it's just a one season thing, and it was Steve Carell was really good in it, and I recommend it. Number 9, Yellow Jackets on Showtime. Feels like what if Cliff in Jordan's high school senior class was in a plane wreck, Lost style, and tried to eat each other. It's good. It's coming back in a couple months. Get Showtime, I guess. Number 8, Jet Lag, season 3. You never heard of it. It's a show on YouTube that is what Amazing Race wishes it was. And check out Jet Lag, season 3. It's like 3 or 4 episodes. It's just a random YouTube show. That's great. 7, Atlanta. Season 4, I guess. I think season 3 even was probably in 2022.
Yeah, there wasn't much of a break between.
Good stuff. 6, The Rehearsal. Nathan Fielder's show on HBO that was weird and super fun for at least most of the time, and he's always thinking out of the box, doing crazy stuff. Number 5, Euphoria season 2. I really like Euphoria. I had a lot of fun with Euphoria. Some of Gold Globe winner Zendaya. Number 4, White Lotus season 2. Love the first season, love the second season. It's just a great prestige HBO show.
Wow. Are we going to talk about White Lotus season 2 later on in this show? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
You didn't like it? I love it. 3, Better Call Saul season 6 part 2 or whatever. I don't know. It's great. Wrapped it up very nicely. Number 2, first season is Severance on Apple. One of the best season finales I've ever seen. It was great. And number 1, Andor. Loved it. Great Star Wars stuff. And that is my top shows of 2022.
I mean, can you imagine picking a Star Wars show as the best, ahead of all these prestige dramas and Emmy bait, like they're made to win awards. Like, here we get a Star Wars show that's better than any of them.
Could never have predicted it. So let's just start off here, Cliff. What's your big problem with White Lotus?
No, I don't have a big problem. It's been a little while since I really watched it. I didn't think it held up to season 1 was all.
I don't know whether I ranked them almost perfectly evenly because I love both of them. I don't know that I liked one more than the other.
I think it's Jennifer Coolidge for me.
I don't like her as much as maybe other people do, although she gave a great Golden Globe speech. She is really good, funny on the spot, playing her character. But yeah. I feel the same. I think we feel the same way about her, but that doesn't take away from the show for me. Like,
yeah,
there was a good mystery about what was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, and I didn't hate it. I just didn't think it was as nearly. I really liked season 1, and I really felt like if you were going to bring back any of the characters, that is the one I would not have continued on with. But that was all.
I really liked the mystery of it. It's definitely I love that it was week to week. It's definitely a show that has to be. You have to have that water cooler talk. You got to be able to theorize what's happening. Did they sleep together? Did they not? What happened?
And maybe that was part of my problem with it is because I watched it as my wife binged it.
Oh,
so
I had all this time to listen to podcasts and think about it, and I had a prediction for the final episode that did not happen. So I'll say it. Because the first scene in the first episode is one of the main characters from this second season goes out to swim in the ocean, and like there's dead bodies floating in the ocean. So something happened out there in the water. And whether it be murder or accident, what happened? We don't know the whole season. That's the mystery as they replay what happened over that previous week or so. But at one point in the season, the guys go out and are jet skiing and they play chicken and then veer off. And then there's some tension later in the season, and I thought, I feel like my guess was they play chicken again and don't veer off. Like neither one of them back down.
Yeah,
and that's what happens.
Yeah.
But I thought I was convinced that was what was going to happen because I thought it was going to be an accident, not a murder type thing. Like I didn't know. I felt like they were, leading us down an odd path. I also thought that the sex worker that slept with the dad and the son was going to be related to him.
Oh,
because they were going out on a tour. Their family and all this. I was like, I was like, I feel like I know where this is going.
Yeah,
but Mike White is a really good. He was on Survivor, the guy that runs this show, that wrote all this, directs it, and he was at Golden Globes. Jennifer Coolidge was like, complimenting on how great a guy he is, and he's like crying. He's super funny and self-deprecating and stuff. I think he's great, but he's very clever in writing this. So I'm curious if they pull off a third season as well as the first couple. It's just fun TV. Aubrey Plaza was great.
Yeah, she was great.
I mean, fantastic. She was so good, and that Theo, whatever his name is, that was in that. I thought he was really good. He was on some show Jesse watched, the time traveler's wife. They made a show for HBO, I think it was on, and he was the main character in that. Well, not the title character, but he was the time traveler. And I thought he was good. Oh, it's a good show.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good show. I just, like I said, I just thought season 2 wasn't as nearly as good for me as.
Well, what you were missing from season 2, even though they had a very similar character, you're missing whatever his name is, the guy that ran the hotel.
Yeah.
The guy that ran the White Lotus, who was in Chippendales. He's in that Welcome to Chippendales. He became a star in that show. He was so
great.
Good.
Yeah. He was great.
And they had I was kind of surprised they had a very similar character as the hotel person running the hotel.
Right.
But whatever. Anyway, it's good. What else you guys been watching over the last month or two?
Well, I signed up for Hulu. All these Hulu shows you're mentioning, I realize I haven't got to. Well, they had the Black Friday cheap deal, so I signed up for Hulu. That's what I've been watching the most of. Mainly because I wanted to see the second season of Reservation Dogs, the Taika Waititi, Starlin Herjo sitcom dramedy set on a Native American reservation. Still my favorite show on TV. I love this show.
It took me, I didn't realize till I was watching that episode, rewatched Willow, that one girl is named Alora.
Alora Dana.
Yeah.
So this show is very funny, but I also usually tear up at least once an episode. Like, it's very sad as well. It's one of their this group of friends. Of course, everybody, oh, brother, cousin, uncle, how you doing? Like, they call each other like that.
Yeah.
It's such a small community, so tight knit. Everyone is auntie, everyone is cousin, everyone is brother. Like, it's all, but one of their group commits suicide. So it's all this sort of, are we ever going to leave here? There's a lot of sadness to it, but it's also really funny, the predicaments they get in. And the second season, they explore a little bit more of the older generation. And you realize they were all basically the same. There was a tragedy. One of the kids' moms died in a car wreck when they were young. So, like, you learn this sort of generational trauma sort of thing. So I love this show. There's nothing else like it on TV. So it cracks me up and makes me cry. So can't wish for anything more.
Yeah, I haven't finished the second season yet, but I'm like halfway through. Every once in a while, when I finally catch up on everything I'm watching, I go watch another episode of that.
Yeah, I don't like to binge. I didn't binge through it because I like to.
I'm the same way. I'll watch an episode and then not watch it and watch it for a week or two.
I finished Nathan For You, which is the Nathan Fielder where he started the Comedy Central show. Ran for 4 seasons.
Wow.
I think they took those off of Hulu. I think they're on HBO. But so I realized that. So this is the show he goes to help. It's very old. It's a long time ago. But
yeah.
He goes to help small businesses with ridiculous stunts. And the longer this show goes, it was turning into The Rehearsal. Like, looking at it with hindsight.
Yeah.
There were a lot of episodes where, like, he rebuilds a set to have somebody practice something, or this was the launching ground.
It was
for
the
HBO
metaverse of Nathan Fielder.
So I had just never seen that, but I liked The Rehearsal so much I wanted to see Nathan For You. I watched Reboot, which I enjoyed. This was the meta sitcom about bringing a sitcom back from the 90s. I didn't love it. I liked it well enough, but I just felt like it was almost trying too hard of, like, these cheesy old sitcoms. Sitcoms are so much different nowadays, but it was still kind of Modern Family-ish.
That was my thing. It's like it didn't go forward like it thought it was.
Yeah, it still was doing some of the corny jokes that are almost 10. It's not 20 years ago, but it's at least 10 years ago.
I was wanting it to pay off the premise. The promise of the premise wasn't there. Like, you thought they were going to show this, more current type,
right,
more modern thing, and they just weren't. It was like it felt like it was written 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of sitcom-y misunderstandings and that kind of stuff. I thought Paul Reiser was great.
Yeah, he's good.
He was terrific in that, as the old school TV writer, and his daughter was really good. I'm blanking on her name, but it was a Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Yeah, so I liked everybody that's in it. I would watch the second season for sure. I was watching some of the documentaries they have on there, the Vice documentaries. They had the Dark Side of the 90s. I was watching that. It has a bunch of different episodes of the internet, the .com boom. They had an episode about Beanie Babies and the rise and fall of the fad, and a whole episode about the Seattle grunge movement and Sub Pop records. So there's some interesting things from the 90s. And as I was watching, I was like, wait, Dark Side of the Night. Why does that ring a bell? And I remember there was that wrestling documentary, Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
That's run for 4 seasons. Like, I've had multiple people tell me I should watch that. So I haven't watched every episode, but I've kind of picked and choose a few of the episodes. That's really interesting. Again, as not someone who's followed wrestling since I was 8 years old, it's still fascinating to me, the behind the scenes stories and the crazy antics and the business side of things behind the scenes has always fascinated me. So there's some really well done episodes of that one. Just watched the 2-parter about Chris Benoit and murdering his wife and kid and all the drama leading up to that. So that was very fascinating. And last thing I watched was 11/22/63, the 8-part miniseries based on the Stephen King book, time travel back to
that's my favorite Stephen King book. I've read it multiple times. I can't believe that you watched that show.
A lot of James Franco, but I
eating his own face.
Eating his face.
Much like he swallows his own face, I swallowed my pride and watched James Franco. Why can't you believe? I like
because of James Franco.
Because of James Franco, yeah.
Oh, that guy.
It was good. Again, that book is huge, so even 8 hours you're going to have to trim quite a lot. Because I know in the book he goes back and forth a couple of times, and there's some false starts and things that the show just does not. But then I won't spoil it if anybody hasn't seen it yet. But like the ending, I was like, surely the book. I couldn't remember how the book ended. I was like,
I can't remember how the show ended. I know how the book ends, but I can't remember how the show ended. I really like
But he at the end he doesn't have a choice. Basically, like the crux of drama is your hero has to make a choice.
Right.
And at the end of this, like there is no choice. He just does what he has to do, And so it's like, oh, you could have landed that a little better. And then I looked up the wiki. I was like, oh, the book ends exactly the same way. So I didn't have a problem with it in the book. I guess I
don't know. I don't remember it being like that. I remember the very ending. I know exactly.
But when he goes back to the present.
Yeah. I don't know.
And he learns whether things got better or not. I was like, at that point, there should be a conflict there. Isn't.
I like the girl in the show.
Yeah, she was really good.
No idea.
Yeah, it was a fine. Again, just 8 episodes. It was pretty good adaptation, fairly faithful to the source material.
Good stuff.
So I think that's it. I think there's some movies I want to watch still on Hulu, but my subscription runs out in about a week, so I think I'm done. I think I got 2 months was about all I needed for Hulu for now. Well, I pay for cable, so I get FX and I get all the network stuff. So
did either of you watch the Chip and Dale show?
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. Yeah, I absolutely watched that show, and
I watched it.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it was fine. I don't know. I would say it was a little better than fine. It was something different to watch, but Kumail Nanjiani, I thought was really good in it, and
they really tried. They failed to hide how ripped he is. Like,
yeah, they did.
I feel like they could have done better. Like, just throwing a suit on him makes him look even bigger.
He's gonna
like
burst
he just
out
looks
of it.
like he's blasting out of it. Yeah, it's like, how about you loosen the freaking suit up? It's like, geez, he looked like he was about to bust out. And
he looked pretty good in that
like he was
suit.
fully engorged. I liked it fine. I did not love it. A lot of people liked it better than I did. I mean,
I didn't think it was great, but it was. I don't know. It was. I felt like it was as good as a lot of other stuff I've watched over the last year. So
yeah, which basically this is about the guy that started Chippendales and they base it mostly on the true story.
Yeah, and I think that's what kept me.
I didn't know about the murders, the Chippendale murders. Well, I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently, that was a thing. There was these Chippendale murders, and it's like, what happened? And so when it made that turn, I was like, that's about the time I heard about that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Well, I did not know this.
Yeah, that's definitely what kept me watching, because I was just like, I had no idea. And so, yeah, I mean,
I don't know what else to say about it other than I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not recommending it to anyone. If like someone like Jordan, he has a week left of Hulu. If I was gonna say watch one show on there, I'd have a hard time picking. Either watch The Patient or watch Fleischman is in Trouble. Like, those are both great. I mean, but that's about it. I wouldn't recommend Chippendales.
I would recommend. I thought especially if somebody does like those period pieces or
I felt like
back to the 80s.
Really about all that going for it is like I'm a sucker for watching a period piece.
Yeah.
Like watching everybody in the appropriate outfits and doing the dances and the guy, the Nick Fuentes or whatever that guy's name is, the guy that was from the White Lotus that was the choreographer was good.
Right. He was
for
really
a
good.
while. Yeah. For a while. Then the second half of the show just gets so petty and not fun to me.
Yeah.
Like, it was way more fun at the beginning.
Yeah.
And
when
Dan Stevens is there for an episode
and Juliette Lewis is running around playing her crazy self, I was like, yeah, this is pretty good.
She's way better than Yellow Jackets. Watch Yellow Jackets, everyone. If you have Hulu, get Showtime instead.
But yeah, so
Showtime was on sale too at the beginning of the year. I was like, but I've already got Hulu. I don't know.
I should have got it because I'm like, I'm gonna get it this week because I need to rewatch Everything Everywhere All at Once and then be ready for Yellow Jackets. So
yeah, Chippendales. The other thing I watched over the last
Chippendale. Sorry.
That's a better Chippendale. No, back over on HBO Max. For whatever reason, it took me a while, but I finally watched season 3 and everything that's been released of season 4 of Doom Patrol. Talk about something DC's done right.
The project you'll be interfacing with is highly classified. Over a year ago, we conceived of a creature that could be bred as a weaponized force of nature.
Let me guess. It worked.
A woman who kisses on the very first date is usually a hussy. And a woman who kisses on the second time out is anything but fussy. But a woman who'll wait till the third time around, head in the clouds, feet on the ground. She's the girl you're glad you found. She's your shaboopy.
What the yeehaw?
Man, this show is so good. I can't recommend this enough. Like, to everybody, whether you like DC
You're right.
or not. It's so good. I absolutely love it.
Save the f***ing world.
Daddy's home, shit lickers.
It's everything. It's everything I love about just those weird DC characters that aren't Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and the Justice League and all that. They're weird and they're not always good or usually not good. And the whole superhero stuff doesn't ever really matter. It's just technically there. Most of these stories, I think, come from Grant Morrison's run on Doom Patrol. But it's just about, it's about family and relationships and mental health and all of these things that everybody is talking about and interested in now and paying attention for a change. And this show does it so well. And, Brendan Fraser's having his big comeback, and it kind of started, I feel like personally, it kind of started with, him playing Robot Man in Doom Patrol. And it's just, I think it's so different than the other stuff. Titans is not very good at all. That HBO's done with DC, Swamp Thing didn't last, and maybe it was okay, but it didn't make it. And here we are on halfway through season 4 of this show, and I really hope it goes on for a little bit, not longer than it should, but I hope it finds an actual audience before it's gone, because it's just, I feel like, so needed and so different. If you like superhero shows, that there's a big audience out there for it that just doesn't know it exists, or they don't know who the characters are or where to start with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are watching it, but everyone I know who watches it loves it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And evangelizes about it. So, again, the quality over the quantity.
Yes. So, and this, like I said, the story isn't, the superhero story isn't always the important stuff in this series, but it's even that, like, the story has moved along, and it's worked so well in conjunction, because it's just about these characters and their struggles as just people, and it's very, very relatable today to some of these characters, and whether for all ages, whether you're a tween or a teenager, or just a 65 or 70-year-old adult, much like some of these characters are. So they don't shy away from using that and the fact that these characters have been around for 70 years, and they don't shy away from that in the story. They work it in there and make it work, and I just love it.
I've just been hesitant for the exact same reason I've never read the comics, because that's all I know about him is how weird it is. And I know Grant Morrison had a very experimental, head trippy kind of storytelling. I was like, I know the show's going to be the same thing. And I don't know, for me, a little of that goes a long way. So I'm sure I'm missing something, but I've drug my feet so long now to even start this show.
What about the Bad Batch, Cliff?
Yes, I've seen all.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, 3 episodes have been released. As of
really?
now.
I've only watched 2. I've watched first two drop.
Yeah, the third. So right, we're back. Things have, they're still out on their own, and they've changed up their armor, their uniform a little bit this year. Noticed that right away.
Gotta make some toys.
That's right. You gotta have variants.
I mean, why else would they do that?
I don't know. Well,
how else do you explain why they have some blue and orange and whatever?
They added a little bit of color.
Yeah, you gotta make some toys.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, as far as the story, they were pretty much just dark gray and black, stormtrooper uniforms or clone uniforms before.
Red.
Yeah, they had some red in there. They've lightened them up a little bit, but yeah, it's just mainly toys. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it just feels like we picked up where we left off. Now, this week's episode is one of those episodes that's a little different. Doesn't focus on Clone Force 99 so much as it is a Crosshairs episode, and it's got a pretty. Yeah.
All I thought about the first 2 episodes was, what is Crosshair doing right now? I gotta see it. I'm excited about this season. I honestly think there's good directions to go here. So
yeah. Do you know who the big cameo is?
No, I don't know anything.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you.
I'm just I don't watch anything anymore, except when something comes out. So, but I have no possibilities in my mind where I think it could go. So I'm excited to see what they do. Like they realize they're going to have to be proactive, even though I've only watched the first 2 episodes, but just know it, that how devalued the clones are.
Right.
Even the good, the obedient clones. It's like it's all about making that transition to this new type of stormtrooper, and it's like, wow, this could really get deep.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm curious what they do.
Yeah,
I know what I want to know. Oh. Did you watch any of those Tales of the Jedi?
Yeah, I watched them all.
I loved those. Mm-hmm. I hated the first one, and I loved all the rest of them. It was like all this Dooku stuff that we never got to see before. It's like all that stuff that was left out of the prequels that now is just a huge mistake when you see all this this good fleshed out Dooku stuff.
Filling in the gaps.
What a great character that I didn't know any of this,
Love a good fleshed out Dooku.
Oh man.
Nothing better.
That and a butthole go together.
But yeah, even the clone to stormtrooper thing, it is interesting because it was just something that they just never really addressed before, and when the prequels came out, and we got that we got finally figured out what the clone in Clone Wars was. How did we get these stormtrooper guys that aren't clones? So that's interesting.
What do you need, Rex? Any chance I could use you for a mission? Rumors are more and more clones have been questioning the Order.
Then they're traitors. Like the Jedi. You made the wrong choice.
We are not the enemy.
The Republic. That time is over. All those missions together, and you threw it away.
We make our own choices.
I really enjoy the show. The animated stuff is always good to me. We joke around about Dave Filoni, and he's got his hands in kind of everything Star Wars.
It's what's funny is you like, and I'm curious, like where we'll go. We're gonna get this Ahsoka stuff, and we're gonna get all, in live action. We're gonna get all these animated characters that we've been watching are going to come to life, and you don't see that very often. I'm so, and they're invested in it. It's happening. Like, it's so Star Warsy. It's like you got the Star Warsiest creators involved in this after we've just come off a guy that didn't really know Star Wars from Adam and doing my favorite show last year. Yet I'm excited to go back to this version also. I was kind of curious if I was going to be ruined for it. Like, would Andor ruin me for the Star Wars that is like all the nitty gritty, all the details.
I feel like there's almost we've gotten to the point where there's a Star Wars out there for everybody, because like the Mandalorian season 3 is coming up here very soon, and I'm starting to like really get excited about that. And even that show is very different than Andor, that I absolutely adored, and I just had some of my absolute favorite Star Wars things ever in them. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's just there's something out there for everybody, as far as Star Wars goes right now. I can't wait for the Ahsoka show.
I don't like it. I don't trust it. Star Wars should just be for me.
Not for everybody. Enough of this everybody stuff. Yeah. What else you watching, Jordan? Anything?
Cliff, did you watch Stargirl season 3?
I have not watched it yet. I watched, I think, the first episode, and I haven't gone any.
If you happen to have any free time, you should get to it.
Okay, I will get to it. Yeah, I did watch some of the last season of Titans, and I am struggling to get through every single episode. I think I've watched 3 episodes, and it's not good thus far. And every time I watch an episode, I sit there and I'm like, why am I wasting my time with this crap? So there's got to be something better.
The final season of Flash is just about to start, so that we're about to wrap up the whole CW Arrowverse that we've had consistently for how many years now. So we're at the tail end of the DC world on the CW, but
the ass end.
Right. So Stargirl, the first 2 seasons were pretty beloved. People really liked Stargirl.
Yeah.
So this one, again, another just 13-episode season, self-contained, subtitled Frenemies, because a few of the people who were bad guys in the previous season, Courtney sees the hope and the potential in them, and they could maybe, change their ways and become better. So this season wasn't working for me.
Really?
I still like the characters. I'm still interested in the story. But just there were some things that were just like, all right, this is kind of meh. It was just kind of dragging. But by the end, I'm not going to call it a twist because it's not a Shyamalan, whatever. But something changes and kind of recontextualizes what you were watching. And you're like, oh, that's what they were doing. And all of a sudden, it got really, really good. So it ends on a very strong note. And actually made me kind of want to go back and rewatch some stuff because I'm like, oh, maybe I didn't get what was going on because it was a very clever sort of shift in the storytelling. So I would say I was not won over, but by the end, it ended very, very strong. So if this is the last we see of Stargirl, it ended on a very positive note.
I had seen some stuff as that last few episodes rolled out of kind of the cast and crew. I think were not happy about being canceled and so quickly and kind of had expressed that there was maybe more to be told, and I think that's kind of why I knew it was last season and then I just didn't jump on board with it, so I'll get around to it though.
Hey, what's your dad going to do about DirecTV?
My dad?
Sunday Ticket.
It's moving over to YouTube TV. I meant to ask him the other day, and I forgot because he probably doesn't know that. But
he's gonna be pissed.
He's gonna be because let me tell you, once he got a little taste of that Sunday Ticket, I mean, he's had it ever since. And I'm just like, every year I'm like, why are you paying all this money for that? And he's like, so I can watch all the games. And I was like, all right, it's your money.
That's all. I don't. We haven't heard price points yet, but YouTube TV freaking made the move. And
what's happening?
DirecTV is gonna die.
Yeah, their contract. They've always had the NFL Sunday Ticket, which is, you essentially every Sunday you get every NFL game across the country. You're able to watch it.
And so people I think Jared has DirecTV and a lot of people have it only because of that.
Yeah, it's a major.
And so it is the boon of having DirecTV and people they just got
and
bought out, but YouTube made the better bid, and now that's going to be available to everybody. You don't have to have a freaking satellite.
So you're going to be able to subscribe to Sunday Ticket just on its own as its own a la carte thing.
There's a possibility that you still have to subscribe to YouTube TV.
I imagine you will,
but it maybe not. We haven't heard any price points yet.
I mean,
whatever it is, it's probably cheaper than DirecTV and having a satellite and all that garbage.
This isn't something that just came out of nowhere either. Like, everybody knew years ahead, hey, DirecTV, their contract is up with the NFL, and it's going to be a bidding war because most people had anticipated the thing going to Amazon, especially after Amazon got involved with the Thursday night games. They were like, oh, it's got to go to Amazon. So it really surprised me when the announcement came out, YouTube TV, and I was like, really? Like, what is this going to look like? What does this mean? What's it going to cost?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited because it's an option. It's an option that wasn't an option before. I'm not getting DirecTV.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that I mean, highly unlikely I would get it, but it's a lot closer to a real option if we're having this great season,
right?
And it's like I gotta be able to see everything. I could do it. I'm not gonna do DirecTV. So
honestly,
I'm loving the option I'm doing right now. But
I mean,
my VPN is pretty dope.
Let's not forget that we're Cleveland fans, and we don't really ever have to worry about having a good season. So
that's true.
No biggie.
Well, I just saw the headline today about baseball. Did you see any of that?
No.
They just hired a guy. MLB announced this week it has hired longtime regional sports network executive Billy Chambers for the newly created position of executive vice president of local media. One of MLB's goals is to create a national product that will combine local rights with its extra innings and MLB TV packages. So they're finally trying to figure out how to avoid all this blackout nonsense and getting some way to let you watch the games you want to watch. So they've hired a guy who is that's his specialty is streaming rights and that kind of stuff.
Believe it when I see it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I hope I see it because I feel like it only takes one, somebody to get one sport to get their shit together, and the rest of them will finally be like, oh wow, that's what people want.
Until then, I'm gonna be Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, I have Suddenlink, which changed to Optimum, and I don't CAS cable just came to my area, and I haven't, because I get Reds games on Optimum, so I haven't even looked at switching or if I could get a better price somewhere else, because that's my main reason for sticking there. So.
Absolutely, as long as you're getting it, no reason to change. I hate change, but I finally when I made myself, once the Cavs were interesting all of a sudden, and I know that I got good Guardians baseball coming up, I'm like, this has to happen. So hopefully my MLB subscription will work as good as my NBA League Pass is with this VPN.
Just got an email. My Optimum statement is now available.
Good, you can pay. We want to let you know.
Let's make sure they haven't raised the price. Nope, we're still what I paid last month. Good, okay.
That's good.
Don't have to call anybody. My heart skips every time I get that email because I'm like, oh, they're going to raise my price because they have a bad reputation.
We still live out of city limits, right?
Yeah, we're out of city. Barely, but yeah.
I know. I looked at the map today.
Yeah.
Well, it's like they carved us out. Just you and me.
It really is.
It's pretty amazing. Well, this is probably should be off air, but we switched to a new pay system or whatever, and they charged me for Marietta City taxes.
Okay.
I was like, no. I called them today. I was like, no way. I was like, I don't live or work in Marietta.
Yeah.
They were looking. She was looking. She's like, yeah, I have no idea why they're doing this.
We're in Marietta Township.
Yeah.
But we are not in the city limits.
Nope.
No.
I just know that recently they were redistributing the wards, and I just want to make sure they didn't redraw any lines.
Nope. Not as far as I know.
So good. That's not. I don't want to pay that $40 a month they were freaking took out of my check this time. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I got TV to pay for.
Well, Marietta
Cliff took care of that problem.
Yeah. Marietta really gets you coming and going.
Can't get you anymore.
Not taking it out of my check.
It's not. It's not even you don't even have to work in Marietta, or if you work or live, either or, they're going to charge you that. So
yeah. Well, I don't do either, so screw off. It only costs $5 to work in Parkersburg.
Or where's that money going? Because they won't fix a sidewalk that they that they destroyed 2 years
They
ago.
put a shoe there in the hole.
The shoe has been dealt with. The shoe is in the trash can.
What did it say in the
shoe saga? It said no parking. It was like the brand of the shoe.
Oh, I knew it was something very meta. I was like, what the heck? Why does the shoe that's set nearby the sidewalk?
One delightful morning right outside my store was one shoe, like my own personal Cinderella. Someone had lost their shoe the night before, and it was just sitting on the curb. And it sat there for quite a long time. I was just waiting to see what would happen with this shoe. Sadly, nothing did.
Yeah, I walked up. It was like sitting there on the edge of the concrete. I looked down in it and it said no parking. And I was like, wow, this is a really weird shoe. And I did think I don't want to find the foot that goes in the shoe. That's about all I got.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, it's a strange holiday season. There's not a whole lot of stuff premiering, but we'll always try to find the best of the best to review and recommend for you out there. I believe we got a big episode coming up next.
Yeah.
For the 2022 Poobah Awards. So do not miss that. We're going to talk about all the best films of last year. And plenty more where that came from. Check out our Patreon.
Yes.
Check out our Facebook page. Come say hello to us. And we'll catch you next time. My name's Jordan Lou.
I'm Flip.
I'm Seth. Bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast @gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.